Another thing that they've got there is this place called Drive with Tanks.
Yeah.
So you get to hop in a tank and drive all over their property. You get to shoot Howitzers, miniguns, 50 cal machine guns, and
I seem to recall getting a bill for tank ammunition from that trip.
I don't think that was me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been cleared for takeoff. You are now flying high with Travis Lamance.
What's happening, Flying High friends? Welcome to another episode of the Flight Deck. Got a exciting one today. We've got a new guy to introduce you to. This is Ashton Armbruster. He is our chief pilot of our Part 135 certificate. So excited to spend a little time and let you guys get to know him a little bit and dive off into some things related to the charter operations. So welcome, Ashton.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's fun stuff. So just to get our audience a little bit up to speed with you and who you are, can you just tell them a little bit about your background and where you came from and how you wound up sitting here?
Well, yeah, so I mean, kind of not really a crazy story. It's kind of just like everybody else's. Unfortunately, I wish I would have started doing it a lot sooner than I did. I didn't start this until I was 25, 31 now. Nice. Grew up here in Amarillo, where we're all based out of, and I guess started back in 2020. Went to ATP flight school down in Dallas. Went through that in 10 months. Thankfully, God willing, we made it all the way through that
right.
Without any fails. So it was kind of quick but pretty stressful. Then moved back up to Amarillo and started away at the flight instruction and just building time as fast as I could, flying 90 to 140 hours a month, just building time so that I could get into this seat right here. So
right.
Along the way, picked up 135 stuff and was originally trying to go to the airlines, and that was the ultimate goal from the get-go. And then I got set in my first King Air. It was kind of the rest is history. I realized I like FBOs a heck of a lot more than I liked
terminals.
Yeah, people are just a little bit happier.
Yeah.
So yeah, started flying King Airs, and then Travis here picked me up. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And I've been with Haven for about 3 years now, a little over 3 years. And
nice.
so, yeah, King Airs and Beach Jet, and now the Citation, the CJ2 Plus. And I recently got this gig, and here we go. We're going to take it to the next level now.
And then going back a little bit, before you went into flight school, you were running your own construction business, right?
Yeah, before this, it was all construction, just building custom homes. So, a lot of people sit there and they're like, "Oh, you were a general contractor." I'm like, "Nope, I did everything." So, only thing I didn't do was the brick, the heating and air, and the concrete. Other than that, is I can build an entire house by myself.
Right.
So
you just woke up one morning and said, I'm done building houses. I'm going to go fly airplanes, or what?
Yeah, exactly.
That was about how it went, huh?
Got tired of dealing with the people in construction, and so I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to be a pilot. Let's go figure out how to do that. So.
It's a big leap of faith to take with someone that already has their own business up and running and already has a family, and the initial few years of pilot life is not glorious. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of weird hours, and what gave you the confidence to take that leap of faith to jump off that cliff?
So I think that's just the general pilot ego that we all have.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to
nothing I can't do.
You got to believe in yourself. So
yeah.
I mean, kind of the funny story on that. So getting into ATP, very first flight was, you go do a discovery flight.
Right.
My dumbass decided that I was going to do all that after I sold my house in Amarillo, after I sold my company, everything. And I was like, man, I'm going all in on this. I've never set foot in an airplane before, but this is what I want to do. So that's what we're going to do. So sold.
So you had
all
never flown anything before you did that?
No, never. Sold everything. Sold the house, moved the family to Dallas.
Oh, I love it.
And the very first discovery flight that I took, I hopped in that thing middle of the afternoon in Dallas, hotter than all get out
bumpy
in summer. And it was so rough. You're sitting in a Piper Archer. You're thinking, okay, I'm going to be a little bit bigger of an airplane. No, they're small. They're really, really small. You're rubbing shoulders with a guy sitting next to you. There's no room for anything. But, yeah, it was rough. It made it to where I was really questioning my decision. Is this really what I want to do? Is this how this is going to be for the rest of my life? Just getting the crap beat out of me and the roller coaster feeling in your stomach the whole time. So thankfully the second flight was in the morning, and it made me realize that that's not all the time.
Right.
So yeah, I went home that day really questioning, did I make the biggest mistake of my life?
Well, there's no better way to do it than do it all the way. Just
Yep.
burn the ships, and here we go, and it's paying off for you. You've came a very long way in a short amount of time for
Yeah.
climbing the ladder and putting yourself in a position to be successful with that career. I mean, that for no more tenure than you have as a pilot, I think having ran your own business and kind of your prior career to coming into aviation, I think that has helped you a lot with your people skills and your management skills and that kind of stuff as well. But I think the all-in sentiment comes across in your career trajectory too, though. That's one of the reasons you progress quickly is because you're all in. So
Yeah.
that's a important life lesson that people need to learn is you're never successful with one foot on the boat and one on the dock. You got to commit to something and stick with it. And
Oh yeah.
things get rough and bumpy, and you got to ride them out and stick with it. And that's where you get to the top of the mountain, And
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah.
You don't ever get anywhere by quitting.
No, either. You can't have no quit in you. What are some of the things in the corporate operations world and the Part 135 world and private jet world in general that you think a lot of people misunderstand about the business or the industry? Everything.
Everything. I mean, everyone thinks it's just, so
Glitz and
easy.
glamour, huh?
It's just glitz and glamour, and all these rich people are flying around doing all these crazy things when really it's just a lot of people just like you and me.
Mm-hmm.
But they got into a niche where they made a little money, and now they like saving time over spending money. So I mean, it's just kind of, it's a little different. I mean, you just got to realize that everybody's just like us.
Yeah.
So
I preach on that all the time myself, that people think it's all a big party every time these airplanes move, and it's 99% of the time straight up business. Yeah, it's a luxury, but it's not all play. It's a lot of people doing work.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
working
that's-
machines.
one thing that everyone always thinks is wow, you're a jet pilot, you just get to go fly on go on vacation every week.
Yeah, and
And there's a part of that that's true, but I mean, I'm still gone away from family the entire time that I'm out, so there's a stressor there that happens. But I mean, a lot of the stuff that we do is primarily business related.
For sure.
So
And from the pilot perspective, everyone likes to think, well, you get to go to all these exotic places and all this fun stuff, and you do, but after you've been there 5 times, you're like, okay, now I'm stuck in a hotel in the Bahamas instead of being at home with my kids, so it's
Yeah.
not always that luxurious.
yeah,
And the fact that most people like to travel on a weekend or a holiday, or so you're going to be gone on Christmas, you're going to be gone on Thanksgiving, those
yeah.
kind of things. So it's just part of the pilot gig, and you guys seem to find a pretty good way to navigate around it and make it work. But it is definitely a piece of that people don't think about when they think about all the luxurious side of it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you got to have that flexible mentality. You got to be able to manipulate your schedule to what, one, your company needs, and two, what your family needs, and try to make all that mesh. So like, yeah, I miss out on a lot of stuff, family related, but at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that I get to do because, being on the schedule that I am, I'm not flying every single
Right.
day. So I've got some time set aside to be at home as
sure.
well. So it allows me to do, just some
Both.
stuff that, a normal person wouldn't get to do. But unfortunately, there is the side effect that, I don't get to be home for everything.
Back to the fun side of it, I know it's kind of a hit or miss depending on the customer and the situation, whether you get to participate in the things that they're going to do or not. But I know you've got to participate in some fun things. What are some of your more favorite things you've got to do in that process?
So, I mean, I've got a few pretty good ones right off the top of my head. Me and my fiance, we got to spend 4th of July for a week down in Jacksonville.
Nice.
So that was a lot of fun. Flew her down there, and we went all over Florida and just enjoyed that for a week. But probably the number one, if you guys have ever heard of a place called Ox Ranch. So that place it's one of my favorite things in the world. So it's this massive, I want to say it's like 60,000 acre ranch down by Uvalde in Texas. And you go down there, and it's just this big hunting game ranch.
Yeah.
They stock all these
Exotics.
exotic wild African game from Cape buffalo, ostrich, zebra, wildebeest. I mean, anything you can think of, they pretty much have it. And so we went down there, and we were there for about 5 days. And I mean, you're just in a Jeep every single night. We went on boar hunts in the middle of the night. They roll up lights off and then throw on all the lights on all these boar just scattering, man. Your AR-15's blazing, just trying to kill everything you can. So that was a lot of fun. And another thing that they've got there is this place called Drive with Tanks.
Yeah.
So you get to hop in a tank and drive all over their property. You get to shoot Howitzers, miniguns, 50 cal machine guns, and
I seem to recall getting a bill for a tank ammunition from that trip.
I don't think that was me. That was definitely my co-pilot.
That was your co-pilot.
Yeah,
huh? Yeah.
it was that one.
Yeah, I remember that. That looked like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, that one was a pretty good trip.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. I've seen a lot of the pictures you guys and video you brought back on it, and
Yeah.
it's definitely a bucket list item. I think that'd be a great one to go on.
Yeah, so what I need to do is on this podcast right now is get
Yeah.
you to commit to like a corporate retreat for Haven to go down there one day.
Hey, we'll set a trip volume that when we beat that, we'll make that a corporate trip.
Yeah, there you go.
We got to figure out what that volume is.
Y'all heard it here first.
He quasi committed. What was that lecture about? All in? Oh, yeah.
I'm there. I'm here. I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm doing my job.
That's fun. What's some of the, because a lot of the aircraft that we operate, they're owned by a private individual, and then when they're not using the aircraft, we go and charter, guests on the aircraft. What's some of the differences or similarities between when you're operating it with the owners of the aircraft versus regular charter customers?
Yeah, so the owner of the airplane, it's Part 91 operations. We've got a lot more flexibility with that.
Mm-hmm.
We can kind of do different things that you can't do in the charter world, which we call 135. Kind of the main key differences is, just we're so much more heavily regulated. So like on the Part 91 side, we can fly. There's really no time limits. We can do whatever we need to do all day long. On the 135 end of things, it's a little bit, just stricter.
Mm-hmm.
We can only be out 14 hours a day, and we can only fly 8 hours a day with a single pilot, or 10 hours a day with a dual pilot, and then we've got to get a certain number, 10 hours of rest in
Right.
between trips and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a little bit stricter.
The training requirements for the pilots, safety levels, a little more stringent.
Yeah, it's quite a bit more stringent. We've got to go do checks every 6 months to make sure that we're still good and that we know how to fly an airplane.
Haven't forgot how to fly in the last 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. When you've got 300 hours in the last 6 months, and you're just gonna make sure that you still know what you're doing for the next 300 hours.
Right. Yeah.
So
There's definitely a lot more oversight and training requirements and kind of the auditing process that we get from the FAA, where they're coming back and checking our records to make sure we're doing everything right. I've had quite a few people ask me, why is it safer to fly on a Part 135 airplane than a Part 91? Is there anything else that you'd like to add on that's kind of the key differences there?
Well, I mean, as far as that, just your pilot rest, that's probably one of the biggest things is, you're guaranteeing on a 135 flight that, you get on that airplane, you've got a fresh pilot.
Right.
You don't have someone that came in at 4 a.m. the night before,
Right.
and you're a 7 a.m. departure, and they slept for 30 minutes, and now they're going to go fly you for another 8 hours.
Right.
That's a huge safety difference. Our maintenance is quite a bit more stringent as well.
Yep.
You get on a 135 chartered aircraft, and you're guaranteeing that plane is held to the highest level of quality that we can reach. And a 91 level airplane, there's no guarantee that
Never really know.
anything's been done. So, I mean, there's just some differences in the quality of airplanes that you're on are held to a higher standard, and then your pilots are also held to a higher standard with, their training requirements and their rest requirements.
This episode is brought to you by Haven ASG. Looking to buy your first private aircraft or upgrade your current bird? Travis and the team at Haven Aviation Services Group has you covered. From finding the jet of your dreams to selling your old model, our expert brokerage teams handle every detail, connecting you to the right deal for the right aircraft every time. Visit havenasg.com/flyinghigh today for your custom experience to begin. Again, that's havenasg.com/flyinghigh, or just click the link in the show notes. Now back to the show.
What do you hope to see out of, this role is new to you, and you haven't been in it for very long, a month or something now? And so what are you hoping to achieve by being in that role?
Honestly, I mean, the biggest thing, just like anybody wants, is they come into a management role in a new company. we want to see it grow to a level of growth that we didn't think was possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think where we've come from when I started with you pretty much at the start 3 years ago to where we are,
airplane and nothing really going
to where we are now, that growth is exponential. And the stuff that I see even 90 days to 6 months from now.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a heavy
fun stuff in the pipeline.
A heavy pipeline, but I just want to create an environment where everybody coming in, they see Haven flying and they go, those are the guys I want to fly for.
Right.
I want to build that corporate culture where it's kind of more, I know we don't use the word family, but where people aren't a number. They're they can call me, they know me by name, I know everybody else by name.
Yeah, people want to feel valued.
Yeah,
exactly. They don't want to feel like an empty cog in the wheel. They want to feel valued. Any human that pretends they don't want to feel valued, I don't think is being very genuine.
Yeah. Well, Jeffrey Dahmer's of the world.
The Jeffrey Dahmers of the world. I'm sure he wanted to feel valued too.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Jeffrey just wanted love.
It puts the lotion on the skin. Oh no, that was Buffalo Bill.
That was Buffalo Bill.
We're excited as a group about you being in this spot, and I think you bring a lot to the table to help with the pilot culture and get those guys in the right direction. And we do have a phenomenal pipeline ahead of us with what we got coming down the road on the growth right now. It was too many pipes in a row.
Yeah.
Pipelines and pipe. And,
Travis can't handle a lot of pipe.
You're right. I cannot.
Poor guy.
Lightweight. What are you giggling at, Doe? So on our certificate right now, we got turboprops, light jets, medium, and some heavies. Mm-hmm. So and primarily right now we're running Falcon 900s, 50s, and CJs, and XLs, and PC-12s, and King Airs. What are some of the things that you see on the charter world that are different between all those? Do you see people kind of picking the aircraft based on their trip, or do you tend to see people prefer a platform and that's what they take no matter where they go? Or what are some of the dynamics with the variants of aircraft that we have on the fleet?
Thinking about that, everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has their own preference. Primarily, it's definitely they like what they like, mm-hmm. and they've grown accustomed to it. We've got guys that have started off in King Airs flying with us that have moved up to a jet, and now they go, I can't believe I ever flew a King Air.
Yeah.
How dare I? Yeah. What a peasant. But, I think it's definitely a lot of airframe related. We've got people taking Falcon 50s 30 minutes where a King Air would do just fine.
Right.
I think it's really just the difference of the level of the balance between their care for time versus money, really. Yeah. It all boils down to that.
We've had more than one that I'm aware of that was taking a 10-minute flight just so they could land on the ramp in a big ass airplane.
Yep. Yeah, some people it's all about that pizzazz. Yeah. They just want the big airplane status.
Impact factor, yeah.
They want to step off that plane and go.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. We have that option for them.
Yeah, we do.
That's what they're at. If that's what they're about.
Yeah, I mean, King Airs. That's a great. Just jump around Texas in a few hours. You can make it anywhere. The Citation. We can be from here to Aspen, Colorado, and what do you think? What do you think? Probably. Most people would say, "Oh, I bet that's a 2-hour flight." No, we can be in a CJ2 from Amarillo to Colorado or Aspen, Colorado, in right about an hour.
That's crazy.
So yeah, and then obviously we jump up to the 50s. We got people going across the country all the time. Mm-hmm. Those things are primarily though they stay in the islands. Mm-hmm. They go up and down the Northeast corridor and just. Everybody trying to get out of freaking New York City to go have a nice little Caribbean vacation.
It's so. Dude, I was at our location in Buffalo last week, and it was so damn cold. I was like, man, you guys are tougher than I am up here. It was so miserable. It was cold.
Poor Bills fans.
Well, Green Bay was even colder.
Yeah,
and watching those, I have a different level of respect for those guys that go to those games and sit in that outdoor stadium in that weather. I'm like, holy crap, dude,
I don't know how they do
Some
it.
tough cookies.
Yeah.
That's hardcore fans right there.
You're going to catch me in an enclosed stadium for a winter game.
Exactly.
Or sitting on my nice cozy couch next to the fireplace.
Getting the best of the action right there.
Yeah.
What's an aircraft that we don't currently operate that you would like to fly and operate?
It's a tough choice. I mean, honestly, just the sex appeal of a Citation 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good-looking airplane. I know they're getting a little older up there in the
They're
years,
badass, though.
but man, they sure do look cool. So, Citation 10, I think would be pretty sweet. I'd really like to fly a Gulfstream. We've got that G550, or is it a 650? Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got that G650 that comes in on the ramp, and I could see myself sitting in that thing, flying around the world. That'd be a fun one.
A funny little backstory. Whenever I graduated A&P school, my A&P school was across the street from an airport, and so for our graduating class picture from A&P school, we went across to the airport, and there was an airplane sitting out there on the ramp, and they're like, all right, we're going to go line up in front of this jet and take your picture. So we all line up there, and I'm like, man, this is a cool airplane, and I had no idea, dumbass kids fresh just through A&P school, and I was like, man, that thing's cool, I really liked it, and then didn't say much more about it. Well, then I get a copy of my picture, and then I wind up working at Textron, and I have that picture sitting in my toolbox thing right there, and one of my leads comes up, and he's like, hey, I work on that airplane all the time, and I was like, what is it? And he's like, what is it? He's like, you dumbass. And it was a Citation 10, but I've always had that picture since A&P school, thinking that was one of the coolest airplanes ever, and that was before I knew about its performance and everything else, just the look of it. It looks like it's going 1,000 miles an hour just sitting there.
It does.
And they're sexy. I've always wanted a Citation 10 just from that little backstory. But then while I was there I was on the R&D department at Cessna, and we had the prototype Citation 10 in there, and it didn't have the derated engines on it, so that thing was, she was a hoss, dude. She would climb like way faster than what the production units are, and it was fun to go play around on that one. But I love that Citation 10. It's a special one to me.
Yep. Well, let's go get one.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Let's do it. We're getting ready to do a manual revision for these other new aircraft. Let's just throw that one in there. Yeah,
we're already doing what? Possibly 12 new airplanes. So what's one more?
What's something that you feel like we do that's better, different, unique than your average company out there?
Honestly, I just feel like we really try to take care of the people. I mean, on a day-to-day, you're flying around at all these different FBOs, and the amount of people that fly with FlexJet or any of the jets, those guys, their pilot or their passengers are sitting in there or sitting in the FBOs. Yeah. And you walk up and you're like, oh, hey, are you, I'm going to Austin today. Is that where you're going? Thinking it might be your passengers. Nope. We're waiting on our plane. And so, and I'm there for an hour before waiting on our passengers to show up. And so I just feel like we really put an emphasis on customer, satisfaction. We really want those guys to have the best experience possible, where we're already fueled up, we're ready to go when they show up, even if it's 30 minutes early. Heck, just this morning I went down to Horseshoe Bay taking some people over to Ruidoso, and I was there an hour before our trip. They showed up 30 minutes before and go, oh my, you're here. Wow, that's a surprise. So we hopped on the airplane and jetted out of there 30 minutes early.
Nice. So,
where I'm sitting there in an hour and I see these people just waiting for their airplane, and I come and go and they're still sitting there. So I feel like that's something we do that's just a little bit different. We really focus on that customer service aspect.
I feel like we're all bought into the fact that we're selling an experience more than we're selling a service. It's all about that experience, and that derives from the service, and the pilots are the face of that. We're all hiding out here in the office doing the back end work, but it's the pilots that go out there and interface with the customers, and they're the face of the company. So it's really important on how they talk to passengers, how they greet them, how they do everything with the customer is all about what the end result experience is and what they associate with Haven being. So
that's one thing that people, I think a lot of people have the misconception we were talking about earlier of the lifestyle that these people lead. Most of the people that we take on these flights, it might be for business, and sure, they do it every single week, and it's just nothing new to them. But then you get the odd ones that come through, and I mean, this is their one vacation that they
Right.
take a year, and they're taking them and their best friends and some of their family members, and they're all going and meeting somewhere. And so yeah, we truly try to make it as good of an experience that we can.
Yeah.
So
What's some stuff going on out there in the aviation world that's evolving or changing or?
I mean, really, avionics.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. We've got all these airplanes that are, the whole Garmin deal.
Yeah.
That King Air that took off out of Aspen
yeah.
the other day and
So cool,
landed
right?
itself in Rocky Mountain Metro. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah. So I mean, that is just a whole step above from where I ever thought this would go.
So explain that a little bit, because a lot of people watching won't know what we're talking about, but it's a phenomenal story.
Yeah. So pilots, from what I understand and what I remember reading, was King Air takes off out of Aspen. Pilot becomes incapacitated on its way over to Rocky Mountain Metro over in Denver. It's about maybe a 35-minute flight for a King Air. The passengers went up there, pressed a little button on the ceiling of the King Air. The King Air then...
And it's an auto land button, right?
It's an auto land button. So something that Garmin has recently initiated and put in a lot of the new airplanes that, all of its new systems that are coming out. So they press that auto land button. The plane goes into really auto mode. The screen pops up, goes a totally different color, and tells the passengers, "Hey, this is where we're going. The plane's going to land here. We'll be here in X amount of minutes."
And it makes all its own radio calls and
It makes
everything,
its
right?
own radio calls. It puts the gear down itself. It does all the engine
Power adjustments,
everything itself.
So in that event where that pilot was incapacitated, the pilot or the passenger had to push the auto land button. Airplane successfully navigates its way, makes a perfect landing there at the airport. And the alternative without that system, either you got a passenger that's trying to figure out how to fly the aircraft,
Yeah.
but high likelihood you wind up with a fatal accident out of that.
Yeah.
And instead it's kind of a non-event, hey,
Everybody goes
yeah.
home happy, and
it's a pretty phenomenal piece of safety equipment
Yeah.
right there.
yeah, it's really cool to see that level of innovation coming to private travel.
Mm-hmm.
I fully expect in the next 5 to 10 years for the airlines to go single pilot.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, a lot of the 135 stuff that we do currently is dual pilot. I don't know that. I mean, I'm sure that our technology will get there as well, but I think we're definitely a few years further away from that.
Me and Dub were on a flight here not too long ago and had a bizarre experience. Normally when you're going into bad weather, the pilot comes on and he's like, "I got this. We're good. I'm going to fly us in." He comes on and he says, "Hey, the weather minimums landing in Houston are extremely low. So I'm going to put the airplane into auto mode and it's going to land itself for us." I was like, what the I was like, I don't know if this is like social conditioning where they're trying to get people used to the airplane landing itself, but it was very bizarre. It caught my attention. I told Dub, I'm like, what the hell was that about? Like, I've never heard them announce to the passengers that they're handing over control of the airplane, and
I mean, it's just the way that everything's going, though.
Mhm.
I mean, whenever I went to go get my ATP license, my airline transport license, you've got to go through the CTS training, ATP CTP training now, where they stick you in these Airbus A320s or a 737 Boeing, and part of the things that they teach you to do is, hey, hit that autopilot on and watch this airplane take it all the way to the ground.
Right.
Sure, the landing's not soft, but yep, the technology is there, and it'll
get you there.
It'll get you there all by itself.
That's crazy.
So it's pretty cool.
The big one we keep hearing about as far as passenger comfort amenities is obviously the big Starlink craze going on right now with everybody throws a fit if you don't have Starlink in the airplane. And I saw a funny on one of the mechanic pages the other day that this funny write-up that the pilot did in one of the logbooks it was one of the airliners. It said we had two passengers sitting in a chair 40,000 feet in the air going 500 miles an hour, very angry that their internet was laggy. Little passive-aggressive pilot there, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I was laughing. I was like, they must not have Starlink yet.
Yeah.
That Starlink is definitely a game changer as far as a passenger experience in the airplane. And have you got to experience the Starlink yet?
I have not. That's the one thing, we like to go on all these, adventures out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So I guess being chief pilot of your company now, I'm going to have to invest in Starlink
Yeah.
so that I can stay
better not
connected.
get off grid.
Yeah. Oh, that's the bad thing. I'm off grid all the time.
You're never off grid with Starlink.
I know. So yeah, I'm going to have to invest in the Starlink craze here before too long.
Yeah.
Obviously we're talking about putting them in our planes for
Yeah.
just the convenience of that.
For sure.
But, so I guess I'm going to have a lot more interaction with it here sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a necessary thing that we're going to have to get our fleet all the way Starlink.
Yeah.
It's kind of becoming almost an expectation now that you're going to have it.
Yeah.
So. And it's so much faster than the old school, Iridium networks and
Yeah.
stuff that have been in the airplanes, that now you can stream stuff and
Yeah.
do your email and your calls. And I had an interesting one the other day. I had a guy call me. I was talking to him. I was like, I thought you were flying today. He's like, I am. I'm at 40-something thousand feet right now. And I was like, how are you calling me? And he's like, oh, my Starlink. So he had a portable Starlink on his airplane and had his Wi-Fi calling on his phone. And so he was Wi-Fi calling me from his Starlink at 40,000 feet. And I wouldn't have known. It sounded like me and you sitting here having a conversation. He's like, oh, yeah, I get all kinds of work done up here now. I'm like, I don't know if I like that, but well, it is what it is.
Yep.
He's like, oh, I'm just bored sitting up here. And so that's
Was
the way
he
it's-
flying or sitting in the back?
He was flying.
Okay.
He was PIC.
I was about to say I'd be able to watch, Netflix shows while I'm flying an airplane.
There you go.
Here we go.
Yeah. It was just pretty weird how much it's evolved since I got into the industry 27 years ago. We barely had internet on the ground when I got in, and now we're freaking doing all this stuff. It's pretty wild. But it's fun to see.
Carrying suitcase phones around.
Yeah, I remember the old bag phone. We had one of those. That was a big old Motorola leather bag with the big old handset in it, and yeah.
There you go.
The brick.
Yeah, the brick of a phone that weighs 5 pounds.
It's funny.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Speaking of all the evolution of things and how things are going and all that, I heard some kind of bizarre stories about what happened with El Paso the other day. I got up and I just randomly had my feed full of El Paso shut down for 10 days, and I'm like, what the hell? I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And then a couple hours later, they reversed it. Do you know much about what went on there?
Yeah, so apparently, what is it, Fort Briggs, Fort Bliss? I think it's Briggs down there. Anyways, they decided that, they were going to, pretty much use a high-powered laser that can shoot down
Laser
drones.
beams.
So, you got Trump sitting there saying, "Oh, those Mexican cartel drones are coming over the border, so we're out there shooting them down." But yeah, they just accidentally tested a laser that can shoot down aircraft with a bunch of aircraft around,
Accidentally.
and didn't tell the FAA about it. So
Holy cow.
they shut the whole thing down. So that's kind of the
military
first time
laser.
Yeah, the first
All
time
I heard about was the drones, the cartel drones. I didn't hear about the military laser.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this big gigantic laser that'll take them out. But I mean, the
And
first
is it
time we've
designed
ever
for like anti-aircraft defense kind of thing, or
I
you don't know?
I don't know if it's that big. They say it can take down a drone. So I don't know. Drones are pretty damn big now too. So
That's crazy.
I'd imagine it can take, if they're pulling all the aircraft out of the
How would
air.
you like to have been on that conversation between that military guy and the FAA? Like, hey, fuckhead, what are you doing? You're just shooting down drones with an active airspace all around here.
It's just that I guarantee you, I know who it was. It's that woman on Austin Powers. Fire the laser! And she's out there.
Really? That's who it was.
She's a little premature. So now we know where she's working.
Yeah, no, her
Down in
cover's
El
blown.
Paso.
Her cover's blown.
Oh, but yeah, no. So yeah, they
hysterical.
cleared all the airplanes out. So I imagine if they're doing that thing can take down a plane.
Well, I would think so. Yeah,
So
can only imagine what all they have the capacity to do. That we're,
oh,
I mean, just like the Venezuela thing, where all they were talking about would Trump call it the discombobulator? Yeah,
it just
that
sounds
we
like
used the discombobulator on them down there, and
they
I was
just
like,
all become incapacitated.
yeah,
Yeah.
Whatever he called it, it was funny as
Yeah.
shit.
Well, speaking of conspiracy theories, I hear you've got a good one.
Well, I've got a working one that I've been going back and forth with Dub on, and it's not like a crazy one like that. But so with Southwest, I flew them for years, almost exclusively, and then was it 6-8 months ago or something? They started talking about this assigned seating change and all that. And then that all finally went into effect the other day, and it's been like roast city on social for them on how terribly bad that's gone in a lot of cases. And then they announced that they were probably going to start operating some flights out of DFW, and said it was because they didn't have enough capacity over at Love anymore. And then I was on a flight last week, and at 2 separate times I saw Southwest Airlines parked at Delta gates. So I'm like, I wonder if this new seating policy is anywhere close to Delta's, right? So then I go and look at Delta's seating policy, and it is almost exactly the same as Delta's policy. So I've been telling Dub, I'm like, you watch any day now, we're going to get the announcement. I'm pretty firmly convinced that Delta is going to be buying out Southwest and merging all that together. So we're going to watch how that plays out. But
Interesting.
yeah, we'll see. Probably totally wrong, but I feel like that's what's cooking. I can't find another rational explanation
Don't
for.
back off, bro. I keep you firmly committed and probably wrong.
That's false humility.
Yeah.
But they're like, I don't know another rational explanation for why they would change all that up to make it align with all these other airlines instead of keeping their own niche thing that they had there.
Good possibility. I mean, I did see some things that I think American Airlines put out the other day, maybe a few months ago, talking about how much more profitable the first class seating is now.
Yeah.
There's so many more people now that are willing to spend out the big bucks for those first class conveniences.
Yeah.
So honestly, my thought on that was just that they were trying to, put in some first class seats and really get some big comfortable chairs up in there so they can make some more money, tap
We'll
into
see
that market.
if they wind up with some first class seating in them. Right now,
They're all the same.
there's no class seating. It's just all the same. So I don't
Interesting.
know. It's gonna be interesting to watch. It's kind of hard to let go of the old Southwest.
Yeah, that is
All
true.
businesses have to evolve and do things different to keep up, but copy pasting another airline's method doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah,
I know we used to get bumped to first class pretty often on American.
yeah.
You don't get bumped very often anymore. There's usually a huge waiting list now where people are just buying it all. So
I think they just got to know who you are. They see me and they're just like, here
here's
you go,
Here's
first
your
class.
seat, Mr. Ashton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it all the time. Thankfully,
Roll-
I'm not going
roll
to
out
complain about it.
Carpet for you right here.
Yeah, they're like, oh, geez, this dude could fly this plane. We better let him sit close to it.
I like all those memes where the private pilots get on the airplane and they're like, hey, just in case y'all need any help, I'm in row 13. I'm a private pilot.
They're like, go sit the hell down. We don't need you.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool one of these days, though, for that to happen.
Well, we got auto land now. We don't need it
Yeah,
no more.
true. Very, very true.
You can't be the hero anymore.
No,
man.
not anymore.
What else is good? Anything else you want to cover? Anything else you want to talk about?
Not really, man. Just happy to be here. Happy to contribute to the team and just see the growth go forward and let's just go kick ass.
It's awesome. Some fun stuff, and you're doing great, and we're excited about it. So appreciate all you guys tuning in and watching another episode of the Flight Deck. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, throw in the comments if there's any topics, airplane stuff you want to know more about, any of that kind of thing, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you guys.